Hey, welcome back to another episode of Only Time Can Tell. I'm your host, Ken. And before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. Let's help grow this channel. I'm depending on you guys. Let's get it done. Share, like, and subscribe. All right, so to the right of me, I have my first female guest, Coco.
Yes.
Coco, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
All right, so Coco, the whole purpose of this podcast is basically to share, what the viewers, what success looks like through all walks of lives or whatever, because what we're hoping we can basically do is inspire other people to get ideas to basically, be successful.
Okay.
So, why don't you tell our viewers who is Coco, what's Coco about? I understand you have a business. Why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about your business?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My nickname is Coco. My real name is Nicole Jai. I'm originally from the Bronx, and I grow cannabis. I'm licensed in New York State to grow industrial hemp, and I'm waiting for recreational to be released so I can become licensed to do that as well.
Wow. How did you get started?
I read the commodity report back in, I believe it was 2015 or 2016, and I was trying to get licensed under the Compassionate Care Act in New York, and they closed that, and the next angle was the pilot program through Governor Cuomo's office.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so now you said you was trying to get licensed through...
Yeah, that's the Compassionate Care Act, the medical program in New York State, because we're legal for hemp, recreational, and medicinal marijuana.
Okay. And you said now that fell through, so...
Yeah, well, it closed, and the fees were very expensive, over $220,000 for the license, and I was able to get licensed to do the same plant right around the time the 2018 Farm Bill was passed, so it made hemp a crop like corn and tomatoes. It took it off the Schedule I drug list.
Oh, wow. Okay. So now, do you have a business set up behind that, or
yes?
What does that look like?
I established an LLC in 2018. I had one prior to that, Coco's Accessories and More. But for this business, it's Nahi LLC. It's Nicole, Adama, and Halima Enterprise. That's the name of myself and my children.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now, is this something that you basically grow and well, you said you're looking to get a license, right? So now I'm trying to figure out, now, is this something that you're basically growing so you can basically do wholesale or retail? Like,
well, I have a license in New York State to grow, to process, to retail, and distribute industrial hemp. I have all 4 licenses in New York State. Okay. The health department just put that retail and distributor and the processing license up. So I have those licenses, but for recreational, it's a whole separate department that will be regulating that.
Okay.
And it's under the Cannabis Commission, and that's for recreational adult use of marijuana. So that's the license that I'm seeking to get, and hopefully it'll be a micro license, which is for minority, black, and brown people. So it'll be a different type of license before the big guys are able to come in.
So on average, how long is the license process? Is it relatively short, or?
Well, it depends on the plan. You have to write a plan, like a proposal. Prior to that, doing this, I wrote procurements for affordable housing for a company here in New York. So that kind of gave me the niche to be able to write proposals and grants.
Okay. Wow. All right. That's deep. Actually, that's pretty dope. So, was there a type of schooling that you had to go through for this, or
Well, no, you just got like the plain dirt. I love dirt. So I'm part of 2 community gardens. I'm a coordinator of one in the Bronx. Both of them are in the Bronx on Bathgate. And that's where it really started, like me planting. My ancestors were farmers. My uncle, my grandparents, my mom, love plants. So I just kind of adapted naturally to growing. But when I got involved with the cannabis industry, I just joined community gardens in my neighborhood just to get familiar with planting and learning certain things about soil and all that kind of stuff, composting, because I know it would be important to what I was doing. I do have degrees, but they're not related to cannabis. I have an engineering degree, That was my first degree, and then I have a Bachelor's of Professional Studies from Medgar Evers, and I have a Master's from LIU in Brooklyn. Yeah, so I did an accelerated program. I got my Master's like in a year.
Okay.
Straight from my undergrad.
Okay. So if you don't mind me asking, so now how do you go from getting your master's degree to kind of going into the direction that you're going into? Because obviously you didn't need the master's for the field that you're in, or did you need the master's?
No, I just think it's important to just be familiar with business, and I just love school, so that's why I have so many degrees. I didn't know at the time of getting all the degrees that all of this would be helpful, but I'm always doing some sort of training, even with the cannabis, like, because I'm going to build greenhouses. I went and did OSHA certification. I got certified NAPSAP to do solar panel installation. I could do flag and scaffolding. I mean, so it's just, you know, based on what I'm doing, the different trainings that I would take. So I have a whole bunch of other just certifications and training as well. But as far as agriculture, it's more about doing it. And I work with the Amish and I work with the Mexicans. So they are very familiar with the land, and they have certain skills with the land. So, you know, they assist a lot. Growing cannabis is very labor intensive, so you need a really good team of people that know about agriculture and about farming.
Okay, well now I don't know if this is something you can share, but now as far as growing it, do you have like your own piece of land, or do you grow?
Yes, under my license, I have 10 actual farms under my license. 14 now because I just added 4 new growers to my license. Okay. So the 10 are Amish locations, and the other 4 are black and brown people that live in the area of where I farm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I have a lot, and then I have a headquarters. So my headquarters is on a 96-acre farm. I have 10 acres there. That's where I have building a build out with a greenhouse. Right. So I'll be able to do my vegging to be able to supply the plants to all my other farms. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I manage about 14 farms. Okay. All right. So how long would you say you've been in this business or been doing this? How I got in this business was 2015 or 2016 when medical marijuana became legal in New York. I got the medicinal card and I went to the dispensary. And I'm just thinking, you know, they gave me this prescription. I can use my insurance. My bill was $1,000. At that moment, I knew I had to be involved. I had to let a disadvantage become an advantage, and I just started seeking out how to get involved in the industry. My first attempt to go back to school after graduating was to Botanical Gardens, for they have a master horticulture program. So I felt like, you know, that it was needed. Right. And they denied me. They didn't let me in. They didn't. But I was licensed already to grow hemp, so it's like, you know, I'm already licensed. Why wouldn't you let me in? But I think, you know, I don't want to. Would it possibly been? Maybe it would have been a conflict or whatever, since you were already licensed? No, it's just about, you know, I felt just, I don't know. Okay. I don't want to make judgments, but I just feel like it wasn't a fair chance. I didn't have a fair shot. Right. You know, and I'm not the only one that says that. You know, it's a private school. Yeah. And, you know, you have to seek your own funding, but I was able to, you know, do all that. I had to do a certain amount of hours. That's how I started in the garden, too, because I had to do 500 volunteer hours. So that summer of whatever year, I think it was probably 18 or 17 or whatever. Right. I spent a lot of time in the community garden. Okay. All right. So what was the startup cost for you to get your business? Well, for the license was just about $500. So and that was the actual fee to submit for the license. But, you know, I established the LLC. I did some other promo things. So my first year grow, I spent about $40,000. 40,000. Okay. Yeah, but I worked and I grew on 5 of the 10 locations. So, oh wow. Yeah, I grew about 11 acres my first grow. I work with the universities a lot, so I got my first crop donated from the university. So, and then this year too, they also donated 400 grams of CBD seeds for me to grow. Okay. All right. So we're just getting off of 2020, the whole COVID pandemic. How did that period impact your business? We did not grow in 2020. Oh, you didn't grow? We did not grow in 2020. We will grow this year, so we like skipped the year.
Okay.
So I got licensed in 18, the end, so it was, you know, out of season for growing. So 19 I grew, and then 20 was COVID, and now 21 I'll be growing again.
Okay, so but you grew in 19, you said, right? All right.
11 acres.
11 acres. So what's been like the reception to your brand of hemp? And
well, it's been really good. The first grow, it was not the best genetics, so I had a lot of male presence, and when you have males, it lowers the CBD level.
Okay.
So that crop was only able to be used for like CBD cigarettes, as opposed to making oils or tinctures or have flour or things like that. So I was only able to do like cigarettes and CBD, like cigarettes, and just process like small amounts of oil. Right.
And I noticed that with the whole CBD, like that seems to be like a growing buzz phrase, especially like as I pass by like different health food places. It's like we now have CBD oil and stuff like that. What exactly is CBD?
Well, CBD is the non-psychoactive part of the cannabis plant. It's the same thing. The only thing that differentiates CBD from marijuana is the level of THC.
Okay.
So when you do a test, which all CBD that's grown, it should be tested in order to show the compliance of THC.
Right.
But once it goes above a 0.3, then it's no longer considered CBD. It's now marijuana.
Okay. Okay.
So when you think about marijuana, it gives you a head high, and CBD, it more relaxes your body and deals with body ailments.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of health benefits. With the CBD. Okay.
Even in because you know it's two. You have a primary market, which is CBD, and then you have a secondary market, which is hemp grain and fiber, which you can grow stalks, you know, as tall as 15 feet for the fiber.
Right.
And then the top will be cut for grain, which is seeds.
Okay. Okay. Right.
And those seeds, you know, you can press oil and make something called a seed hull or seed cake. It's like a really good protein because it has a lot of the omega-6s and 3s that balances our body.
Yeah, because I know when I used to go to the gym or whatever, I used to do a lot of hemp oil.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hemp seed protein, because I found that was easier for my body to process and break down as opposed to some of the other stuff. So I got you.
We have a ecocannabinoid system in our body, and, you know, with the cannabis, it balances, and it gives it just the right amount that, you know, we need.
Yeah, nature, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so now I'm curious, are there any losses with your business?
Of course. I'm operating in the red right now.
You're operating in the red right now?
Right now. Right now, yeah.
And is that because of the whole COVID thing in 2020 or just? No,
it's actually because I have a new canvas so the first year I grew on the Amish. So I had the land, the 10 acres I referred to.
Right.
I'm actually in the process of being grandfathered into that land.
Okay.
So that will be my main headquarters. And then I have another opportunity to get some other land. But it's really about having land. You know, my first year and even moving forward, the land I'll still lease from the Amish, and I have other growers, but to have my own piece of land in that area to where I can operate my headquarters was important.
Right.
And I was able to secure that within the last 3 years.
Okay. So did you have anybody kind of like guide you with this or mentor you, or is this something that, you know, you went to the internet, you just was doing your research, like?
Well, yeah, I did a lot of research. The main guidance I had was from the Department of Ag and Markets, the ladies that worked in the office, as far as writing my application and knowing how to write it. And then when I wanted to add the Amish, it was like, you know, kind of like a cooperative type of farming is what I do. So they kind of helped me. You know, I have a lot of guidance from different people. You know, have attorneys, have accountants, have business consultants. So, you know, it's a conglomerate of people that makes up this business. Even on the farming side, I have a soil smith that, you know, he just works specifically with all my farms and all my soils.
Oh, wow.
You know, we do something regenerative farming. So it's like we use natural things to fight against pesticides and as for plant food.
Right.
So it's
Okay.
like a lot of IMOs, myceliums, and fish amino acids that you mix together and you make natural fertilizer as opposed to store-bought. So that's how we grow.
Okay.
We do everything naturally and organically done.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that led into my next question. So now, with the way that you're growing, is there a way that you can basically, put the organic label on your hemp, or,
Well, yeah, you have to just go through USDA and get certified organic. And for me, it's a market for it, but I don't think for what I'm doing, it's not a large enough market where I would pay for all of that.
Right.
I would have to do it on every farm. I have way too many farms. We just grow organically, but I wouldn't put the label unless we go through all the process of USDA.
Right, I got you.
Because they own the word organic.
Do they really?
Oh yeah, USDA. Between them and Monsanto's, it's really hard for farmers.
Yeah. All right, so when you first started your business, cannabis wasn't legal in most states, right?
When I started, cannabis was legal, I think, in 8 states. Marijuana, recreational.
Right.
I think it was 8 states, and I think it was 24, maybe 36 states that were participating in the pilot program.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to ask you if it wasn't legal in New York, right? Are you operating in New York? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's legal. Medical has been legal. So it's 3 components. You got recreational, which you just got approved. That's the adult use, and that's under Section A657. That's the laws and the regulations that regulate that. Then you have the Compassionate Care Act under the, can't remember the codes, but somewhere. But in any event, that's the Compassionate Care Act. They regulate the medical marijuana, where you can go into the dispensaries. That has been legal here since 2014.
Okay, all right.
Hemp came right behind that, but they only allowed universities to grow it. And then a couple of years later, they opened it up to businesses, and that's when I got in.
Oh, that's when you got in. Okay.
Yeah, I'm grower number 152.
Oh, really? Okay.
First black woman to get this license in New York.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
See? Oh, that's dope. That's dope. And that's what I was about to ask you. With you being a black woman or whatever, like, were there any, obstacles? Like, how difficult was it for you to get your licenses and permits, if any difficulty?
Well, for me, it wasn't difficult because, again, my brain is kind of like trained to do intensive paperwork and, with schooling. So, the applications is very intense. I'm nice with paperwork.
Okay.
So, I'm just nice. Any state, any country, I could apply and I'll get licensed. That's how confident I am with the way I write my plans.
Right. Okay. So now, do you have any business affiliations, or are there any people that that believe in your product to the point where they wanted to partner up with you? Or?
Oh yeah, I have it. Yes. So currently, it's a few things. So I have a few vendors that will be doing retail and distro, and they'll be getting their flower from me.
Okay.
And that's on the CBD side. On the recreational side, I've partnered with Freeway Ricky Ross from out of California.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Here's his book right here. So he just sent me a bunch of books, a bunch of hoodies. So, I'm part of his Millionaires Club.
Okay.
And he autographed books for me and my family and friends. And I'll be getting all my recreational genetics from California or from his brand.
Okay.
And then and I'm also, I'm keeping my fingers crossed because in the area where I'm growing, it is a new development going up. It's an old beech nut facility. A lady named Shelly and her brother Sheldon Roberts bought it for $500,000, and they're looking for someone to run it. I just had a conversation with her on yesterday. So I'm hoping to meet the dad, which has a lot of real estate. They do real estate. So they have this 19-acre old beech nut facility that they're going to convert into a cannabis grow for recreational. And then they have another 136 acres of farmland that, they need someone to tend to. So I'm hoping that I am the one that is selected for that.
Yeah, you're making some serious moves. I mean, even down right to how did you even get in touch with Freeway Ricky Ross all the way out in California, like the whole other side of the country?
Yeah, I reached out to a young lady named Cecilia Peterson, and she connected me. I believe she's his manager. I hit her up on Instagram and said, hey, I'm Nicole. You know, I grow. I'm trying to get in touch with Freeway. She said, I'm going to call you back. She was doing, I guess, a podcast at the time.
Right.
CC is what they call her. And she called me right back, said, I talked to Freeway. He's waiting for you to call him. Call him now. He has to go in the meeting.
Get out of here.
And I called him. I talk to him regularly. Like, I call him early in the morning. Like, he gives me a lot. It's like my mentor.
Do you have, with your business, you know, and I know you're legalized and you got all these licenses or whatever, but is the black market having an impact on your business, especially on the recreational side, or?
Well, I haven't begun the recreational as yet, and
Okay.
what I do know is that, because I do know people in the black market, you know, there's a lot of people doing this, they did it before it got legal, you know, just call
Right.
it what it is, you know, and what I find is that it's definitely hitting them harder since it's gone legal,
Right.
so where, you may be able to sell a pound for $4,000. It's now like $1,700
Wow.
in the black market because
Right.
of the legalization in New
Right.
York. And this is just what I was told from someone I know that grows. you
Okay.
know.
So that sounds like that could potentially be maybe an issue, like as this starts, once the recreational becomes legal.
Everybody's not going to be able to comply with the law and be able to pay the taxes.
Okay.
That's the thing. It's going to be a 13% tax plus, you know, the 8, whatever New York already charged. That's like 20% of taxes.
Right.
But, you know, for me, it's just like, I don't worry about that kind of stuff. You make money, you got to pay taxes anyway.
Right.
That's the way
Right.
it goes. You know,
And
unless you're
besides, you know,
President
you're like, your trajectory is so far ahead that,
I'm not really too much worried about having to pay taxes, but a lot of people are. The other thing is that people don't realize once something goes legal and you break the law, the punishment is far more harsher. So for one, you're not supposed to be smoking in public, period.
Okay.
It's against the law. You're breaking the law if you stand outside and smoke a blunt in public. It clearly states that.
Okay.
So, you know, the sad part that people are still going to operate, you know, the way they were in the black market, and it's going to hit them heavy. They will be incarcerated. They will be locked up. Not because it's not legal. It's legal, but you have to go through proper procedures to be able to grow it. You're allowed to have a certain amount of plants. I think it's 12 plants and up to 3 ounces on your personal, but that's for personal. When you talk about growing pounds and having pounds of cannabis, you know, it's a whole different animal. They are going to lock people up.
Right.
And they're going to make examples out of people in the beginning, especially in New York, because we have a lot to show. Massachusetts has been doing it. Jersey's going to be right there doing it. Connecticut just got on board. You know, this part of the spectrum is, you know, they're waiting to see what we're going to do. Cali's been doing it for 7 years. It's going to be about 6 to 7 years before it actually pans out and
Right.
everything, you know, kind of balance itself out. But I'm fighting for social equity, you know, for certain things in this industry. I'm definitely fighting for people that were affected by it to be able to get some sort of reparation from it.
I got
They
you.
have to. And
Right.
where's the tax money going? Is this tax money going into, you know, low income areas? Are our children benefiting from, you know, the money that the state is making from this? Because they're going to make a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah.
a $1 billion industry.
Yeah,
you
which
know?
is why it made sense that they would finally legalize
Oh
it.
yeah, he had to. Cuomo had to do something. But
Right.
and then wait, see, people don't realize, because I follow the laws. So the fact that he did the Marijuana Regulatory Tax Act is great. Because had he did the Cannabis Regulatory Tax Act, it would have been a lot of people of color would not have been able to probably participate. They would have made it impossible.
Right.
But the fact that he passed the Marijuana Regulatory Tax Act is a whole lot better, and it's going to give minorities and, you know, people that were affected mostly by this to get in if they really want to.
Okay, great. I heard an interesting fact in regards to your business. You're not allowed to deposit the money that you make from the business into your regular bank account.
I think that is in regards to cannabis,
Okay.
not Hemp.
Okay.
I have a bank account. It was not easy getting a bank account because I was in there like telling them, I am. And I'm like, hey, it's part of, the farm bill. Oh, the banks haven't caught up with the laws, and
Right.
they have to fix the paperwork in order to match the laws. And
Yeah,
that's why
right.
a lot of banks resisted. Chase did give me an account.
Did they really?
Oh yeah, I have a business, but before that, I was dealing straight cash, and it was a lot of amounts of cash, and it's scary,
Chase actually gave me and the reason why I bring that up is I remember there was one time where I was making a payment, child support payment to my son's mother, and she was just like, hey, just deposit it into my Chase bank account.
You have
So
to have an account in order to deposit.
Yeah, I learned that. They was like, yeah, we can't take your cash. And I'm just like, why? It's not like I'm coming in here with like, $20,000. Like, no, if you're not on the account. So it's interesting that Chase
JP Morgan, you got to think about it. They've been around for years, but they also took a hard hit when it came to fraud and a lot of that stuff. The reason why my account is with Chase is because they were the only ones that would give me an account. And they knew exactly what I did. I grow CBD. I make CBD products. So they were the only, because I was being transparent. I was being very transparent. I'm a cannabis company,
Okay.
So TD, Wells Fargo, Citibank, my own bank is Citibank, and they denied me.
They said no.
They opened it and then they closed it. I have a
Did they really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Once it went through, I guess whatever process they had to go through to complete to finalize the account. But they sent me a card and everything. But they also sent me a letter shortly after. It's a risky business.
You went to various banks to say, hey, I wanted to set up a business account for my CBD business, and Chase was the only one to say, okay.
They were the only ones to approve it, knowing what I did.
Wow.
Chase was the only one.
Now, and it's...
And I didn't say CBD, I just said hemp.
Oh, hemp, okay.
So I just said hemp.
Which, that's bizarre because, because for the most part, it wasn't like you were trying to get a business loan. You're talking about, I just want to deposit money.
Yeah.
But it's risky.
With a 740, I couldn't get $50.
Okay.
Initially.
Right.
Prior to COVID.
Right.
But when COVID happened, I was able to secure funding for my business.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Oh, yeah. A
Awesome.
lot of funding for my business. I needed the money, but they gave me a substantial amount, they gave me 3 times the original amount. So I have over $250,000 sitting in my account, just sitting there.
Right.
I'm kind of scared to spend the shit. Like, shit, I'm like looking at it like, what? Is this all my money? And then they just sent me an email when I was on the way about the extra 15 because I got denied for the advance. So they said I can get the 10 and the extra 15.
Right.
But they gave me 83, my first, and then they turned around and did 3 times that amount.
Oh, wow.
It was like 83,400, something like that.
Right.
And then during COVID, because I was not farming, I was helping people do their EDIL and their PPP, and
Right.
became some sort of business for me as well. So a lot of people, it helped a lot of people. Because like I said, even when I started, I tried to get a 50,000. I had a 740. They wouldn't give me 50,000.
Oh, wow.
With a 740 credit score.
Right.
So, and that was mainly to, operate.
Okay.
I got scammed. It was a whole lot of things that happened, but, it's okay.
Right.
Sometimes you got to, go through the bad part to get to the good.
Yeah, always.
Push all the good out.
Always.
But, I had a partner when I started. He brought somebody in that was supposed to be an investor. He scammed us out of money, and it was just awful. So, it was like these 2 kids trying to get going, and we trust this 70-year-old that was like actually a pervert, because then he was, being inappropriate. Right. And, for me, it's like, listen, I'm not into compromising my, not for, just not into that.
Right.
So it kind of went sour with that. And, we were back to square one trying to find money to operate.
Right. Yeah. So now, how do you file your taxes with the IRS? With your line of business or whatever? Does someone have to come out and inspect? Did you grow, X versus what you say, or You know, how does that whole process even work?
No, with the IRS, you just file because I'm a LLC, but I'm the only one that owned it. I'm a single member owner, so I just put a Schedule C in with my regular tax return. But I have accountants, I have bookkeepers, I have people that get all my receipts every month, and they compare it with my bank account. So I have a hard copy where they tape the receipts, date it, and if it's a split purchase, something personal, then it's documented. But I have people in place that manages all that stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I pay taxes. When you make money, you got to pay taxes.
Right. Yeah.
Even like I'm operating now in the red because I'm building out, so I'm spending a lot more money to build. It's like an empty canvas.
Right.
So I have to put electricity, water, have to build greenhouses, have to put a building there, have to get a bunch of equipment. So
okay. All right.
But yeah, with the IRS, you just pay them. The state, I have a DT 17 form, so I pay that quarterly. I'm due to pay them on the 15th. So when I make a sale, I pay New York State a certain amount of taxes. You have to get a certain taxation. It's through the New York State taxation certificate. But yeah, with that, it's like an orange card that they mail you when you register your business, and you pay taxes on New York State every 4 months.
Every 4 months, so every quarter, right?
Every quarter.
Right.
So you can choose when you pay it, but I just do it every 15th of June, and then 4 months after that.
Okay. Well, Coco, that does it for all my questions. Can you share with the audience, where can people find you?
I can be found on Instagram. I am Nicole Jai, Nicole, last name N as in Nancy, Diaye. Facebook, Nicole Jai. Instagram, also my company is Nahe Farms, NAHEFARMS. And I think that's it.
What's up?
Yeah. No, that's it. Yeah,
that's it?
Sorry.
Okay. Well, too bad she didn't provide any samples, so we can't let you know how good the CBD oil is. But no, we appreciate that.
Well, I will put together a care package for both of you guys and have it sent or delivered personally myself.
All right. Well, Coco, thanks again for your time. I appreciate
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week. Only Time Can Tell. I'm your host, Ken. This was my guest, Coco. Like I said, before we leave, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you will always get an alert when a new video drops.